Hey, here's something you don't see too often. I'm thinking this is like a 3-day-old or 4-day-old axolotls. You can see the pink belly from eating the live baby brine shrimp. See if I can get them to move. They don't feel like moving. There we go. There's a better look at them. They kind of look like a Cory catfish at this point. And you can probably see their entire insides there. This one you can see is just starting to grow the weird little gill things on top of its head. And it's kind of strange. They get a really bizarre growth of hair looking stuff on top of their head. Kind of the opposite of like a Michael's Fish Room guy who gets a bizarre little growth of hair on his chin. Like 3 or 4 whiskers maybe. But anyway, that's kind of interesting. Not something you're going to see too often. Sorry I can't get them to move. They're lazy. There's another one back there. They moved a little bit. Anyway, that's them. This is the Galaxy Guppies. Kind of some people call them what do they call them? Nebula Steel things. I call them Medusa Galaxy Guppies. The males that I have like a bit of a cobra skin pattern on the side, and I like the orange and black mosaic tail. So these are more like a veil type fin. I don't get too many that are delta. This one's kind of close. The females are really packed, and there should be a bunch of babies showing up in there pretty soon. There's a younger one. This one is a long fin one, gold one, but it's not developing right, so probably end up getting taken out. So I do have a couple of gold females that are Galaxy or Nebula Steel, whatever you want to call them. But I like the pattern on them. They get a little bit of a metalhead type markings, but they don't really show to be metalheads. These are the metalheads that I'm kind of working on, except for that one. These are like a red-blue mosaic metalhead. Very nice pattern. I really like this pattern. The metalhead part's not so evident right now. You can see a little bit of it at the top. I just fed these fish some frozen baby brine shrimp, which doesn't look like they ate all that much of it. So I really like these. I'm going to keep working on them. There's a couple of them down in the corner here. It's a really nice pattern. A little bit of a lower part of the tail gets some red in it. The dorsal as well. And if I get a little more red in there, I might be able to do a little more of a split with them and just try to get some with a red and black tail. But for now, I really like what I'm getting out of these. Definitely impressive fish. Shame the metalhead part's not so evident right now. And I don't know what that male is. He's probably going to be coming out. And this one doesn't have the red yet. Really interesting pattern on them though. And see if we can get him to turn to the side. You can see a little bit more of the body. Here we go. It's not a bad looking fish. That's something interesting to keep working on. So let's see if I can get a little bit of a view of the red mosaic snakeskins I'm working on. Here they are. They're starting to fill out really good. The females have a really nice body shape and fin shape to them. I have a couple of different color females in there. You can see some that have like a brownish and white, and this one is more like a reddish. So I'm keeping both in there until I can see what the next batch of fry looks like. Try to get one of the males to show up there. Here we go. So the only real imperfections with these are the tail. Lower part of the tail is now filling out as you can see with this one as well as I want. This one's not too bad. Dorsal is super nice on the males. And the snakeskin pattern is a nice snakeskin pattern, but it's not usable if they get big enough and fill out the tail. as a variegated snakeskin in the IFGA class because they don't get enough of a snakeskin pattern on the body. It's a long brown spot at the top of the body in the back that really needs to be snakeskin. So they all seem to get that. Like I said, this is the F1 from a cross I made of red albino snakeskins to all red albino females. And very impressed with them. That's really a sharp looking fish. So the dorsal ideally would have some of the pattern that matches the tail. I'm not really seeing that happen yet, but the shape of the dorsal is really fantastic. It's kind of like a thumb shape, I guess. And this one has a little bit of color getting into it. So, but I'm really impressed with the females on these. They really have a nice shape and really nice dorsal and tail on them. This one's got coloration that matches the males. So I put all the females in that I got from that first batch because I have to see what continues this line or what improves it. So obvious improvements I want to make are a longer, wider tail in the males, and I'd like to get a fuller tail at the bottom. So the color I like a lot, and it's definitely something to keep working on. I don't have too many tanks I can devote to them. Right now I just have 2 tanks of them, and if I get any drops of babies, I'm going to net them out and hatch and let them raise up for the first few weeks in a 2.5 gallon tank, and then move them into a 10. So I have a few 10s I'm going to be taking down because some of the fish aren't developing the way I'd like. Some of them are crapping out a little bit. But these are interesting. One other thing I can show you would be the cross I made. It's a red, black something. And this was from cross I made that got me those really long dorsal and tail females. You can see these are starting to grow out. These are what the males look like. And this cross started as a black Moscow to an all red albino. Once in a while I get an albino, very rare, but I really like this color on the males. I don't even know how to describe it. Probably you can see the body is influenced by the Moscow, and the tail is a cross from both fish. As you can tell, that is pretty close to the tail pattern I get in that cross I made to get those red Mosaic-ey snakeskins. So there are some babies in here. I have a lot of Java moss in there because these fish, they devastate their babies. They just go after them like crazy. But these are starting to leave them alone. You can see there's a couple babies at the bottom. I'm sure they spend a lot of their time flying into the Java moss to save their lives. But it's a very nice fish. I don't know anybody else that's got something like that. It's a very cool cross that really worked out well. And I have a few tanks going to these, plus the originals with the absolutely gigantic females that are still hanging in there. So let's see if I can get them on there. Alright, fish room's a little bit of a mess. Got to work on some cleaning some stuff up here. And this is the, these are actually the F1 of what I started with. That's the male, and these are the absolutely stunning, gigantic females. Get her to turn to the side, you can see how long that tail and dorsal is. Really amazing looking females, the nicest I've raised. There's another one in the back there. You can just kind of make out the tail. So I'm afraid though that if they have one more batch of babies with the size these females are, that'll probably do them in, because these are about 1 year and 3 months old, which is kind of the top echelon for lifespan of a guppy, unless you're talking the smaller guppies or double swords. They can live 2 years. See if she can get a little bit closer and check her out. And you can see how big it is. It's almost like a bronze pattern on the body, which is probably influenced from the Mosaic-eys. But yeah, tail is, I've never seen a tail like that on a female guppy, and that's customarily what I get from all of them. And some get the long dorsal, some don't. You can see how long these dorsals are on these females. Very nice fish, so really happy with these. And yeah, that's pretty much about it. Just a quick little update on a few different types of fish. And I hope you enjoyed. Bye.